Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission here is, well, it's to take these really dense, complex stories.
The ones that make your head spin a little.
Exactly, the ones you almost need a roadmap for. And we try to distill them down, make sense of them.
And today we're diving into a big one from spring 2023, Heavenly Delusion.
Or Tengoku Damakyo.
Yeah.
A really heavy, but I think incredibly rewarding series.
Absolutely. And brought to life stunningly by Production IG. Seriously, the visuals alone are worth a watch.
Oh, for sure. But the genius of it, for me at least, is that structure, the dual mysteries.
Right, that parallel storyline thing it does.
Yeah.
Set in this broken post-apocalyptic Japan.
Following two different groups, you've got the outside world, this sort of hell, and then this pristine, isolated academy of the heaven.
And the trick, the brilliant part, is how it makes you think they're happening at the same time for, what, the first 13 episodes?
Exactly. The director, Hirotaka Mori, just masterfully plays with your perception of time.
Until you realize, and this is the core of our deep dive today, they're not concurrent.
Not at all. They're separated, not by space, really, but by time. About 15 years.
And that clicks everything into place, doesn't it? Suddenly the academy isn't heaven now, it's heaven then, it's the past.
It changes everything. How you see the monsters, the characters, the clues. It reframes the entire show. It stops being just survival horror and becomes this deep existential mystery.
Which is why we're digging into season 1, covering those first 6 manga volumes to really unpack how these two worlds are linked. Tragically linked, you could say.
So let's start where the show kind of throws you in first the future, the post-apocalyptic timeline.
Right, with Maru and Kiruko on their road trip across this shattered Japan.
About 15 years after, well, after something big happened. We don't know what yet.
And their dynamic is just fantastic. The banter, the bond, but also these heavy secrets they're both carrying. It's the heart of the storyline, really.
Totally. So first you've got Maru. He's about 15, seems like a pretty skilled kid, especially in martial arts.
He's the muscle, yeah. But his real trick is that unique power.
Right. The Maru touch. He can somehow sense the core, the weak spot inside these monsters, the Haruko.
And destroy it just by touching it, telekinetically almost. It's a bit vague, but super effective.
And his goal seems simple enough on the surface. Find heaven.
A mission given to Kiruko by Maru's dying adoptive mother, Mikura, along with that ray gun.
Ah, yes, the Kiru beam with that weird bird logo on it. That's their main clue, isn't it?
It is. Now, Kiruko, that's where things get really complex right from the get-go.
Oh, absolutely. She presents as a young woman, maybe late teens, early 20s.
But her identity is fractured. Is that the right word? It's literally traumatically fractured.
So the story is, after a Haruko attack, her younger brother, Haruki Takahaya, was dying.
And some mysterious doctor performed this unheard-of brain transplant, put Haruki's brain into his older sister Kiriko's body.
So Kiruko is Haruki's consciousness in Kiriko's body. It's
right. It's intense. You're dealing with Haruki's male consciousness inside his sister's female body. So you have this very specific, very literal, trauma-induced transgender experience happening.
And the show handles it with, I think, a lot of maturity. It's not played for laughs or shock value. It's central to her character.
Absolutely. It's this profound mix of body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, trauma, all baked into one character's reality.
So Kiriko's mission isn't just protect Maru, find heaven. She's also looking for that doctor.
And for Robin Inazaki, this friend, this mentor figure that Haruki really looked up to, he's missing.
And this identity stuff, it isn't just backstory they mentioned once. It comes up early, doesn't it? Episode 2.
Yeah, on the ferry. Maru, being a 15-year-old boy, makes a bit of a pass at her.
Which is awkward, but understandable in context, maybe. But it forces Kiruko to confess, to explain who she really is.
And Maru's reaction is actually quite telling. He accepts it. His affection or connection doesn't just vanish.
Which is a really refreshing step away from how anime sometimes handles these things. It grounds their relationship in something deeper than just appearances.
Definitely. So their journey through this hell is obviously dangerous. They're constantly running into Haruko.
And learning that these man-eaters aren't simple beasts, like that fish monster in episode 4.
Right. It could only survive if it stayed wet. Dried out, it died. So they have these weird, specific vulnerabilities.
And the duo relies on Maru's touch and Kiruko's ray gun, the Kiru beam with that logo.
Always back to the logo.
Yeah.
But then things get even more complicated with the human-looking Haruko.
Ah, yes. Totori, episode 6. That encounter was confusing at first.
Because Maru tries his power and nothing happens. He can't sense the core.
Not until he touches her chest, right? Then he feels it.
Exactly. which sparked a ton of fan debate. Is his power unreliable, or is it something about them being hybrids disguised as human?
Yeah, does the human form mask the core somehow? The later manga hints he's still figuring out his power's limits.
Which makes sense. It adds this intentional ambiguity, this weakness. What if he can't always detect them instantly, especially if they look human?
That's a terrifying thought given what they face later. So they're fighting monsters, dealing with identity, and following clues.
And those clues start pointing somewhere specific. They find abandoned places, like that Mitsubo Home Center.
And boom, there's the bird logo again, same as the gun.
So they know they're on the right track, even if they have no idea what heaven really is, or that they're basically heading back to the source of the whole disaster, the Takahara Academy.
Okay, let's shift gears completely, because you have to talk about the other side of the coin. Takahara Academy. Heaven.
And the contrast is jarring, isn't it? From dusty ruins and monsters to this pristine, walled facility.
Utterly, unsettlingly perfect. Kids living in this clean environment, taught by robots.
And completely ignorant of the outside world. They're explicitly told it's hell, and they can never, ever go there.
It immediately screams, something is wrong here. This isn't a sanctuary, it's
A lab. A giant, long-running experiment. A genetic one, and a social one, too.
definitely. The kids are special, clearly, but they lack basic context for being human, especially intimacy.
The show gets into their emerging feelings, which they have zero framework for. It's bizarre and creepy.
Let's introduce some key players from this timeline, which we now know is the past. First,
Tokyo, who looks almost identical to Maru. That's the first huge visual clue linking the timelines.
right, and she gets that weird digital message, do you want to go outside of the outside, which hints at something more.
Some latent ability, maybe, or contact from elsewhere. It's mysterious. And she gets close to Mimihim.
Mimihim, the clairvoyant one, her visions are absolutely crucial.
She tells Tokyo that two people will come from the outside to save her someday, and one has Tokyo's face. Chills.
Foreshadowing Maru and Kiriko, obviously. Then there's Kona.
The oldest kid. And the artist. His drawings, they're not just sketches.
No, they're disturbing. Grotesque babies, strange forms. It's like his subconscious is tapping into the facility's real purpose, genetic manipulation.
Mm-hmm. And we also meet Shiro, who's smart and good with tech, and Taka, the athletic one.
And the dynamic between Mimihime and Shiro especially seems really important later on. It hints at connections to people Maru and Kiruko meet in the future.
Absolutely. But overseeing all this is the adult conspiracy.
Led by the director, Shino Kaminaka, elderly in a wheelchair, and Dr. Sawatari.
They're watching the kids constantly, monitoring everything, even their feelings, their budding romances.
It just reinforces that this isn't about raising kids, it's about observing subjects. It's cold.
And the whole thing is built on a ticking clock. There's a crisis looming.
Yeah, we learn these kids, these genetically modified creations managed by an AI called Mina, they all have some kind of incurable disease.
Progressive one. And we see it firsthand with Taro. He gets sick, he dies.
And the cremation scene, that's horrifying. They find this large bug-like thing in his ashes.
Ugh, yeah. That confirms the disease isn't just a sickness, it's a transformation. Something physical, seated in their genetics.
So the director is scrambling. She needs a cure before this day of fate, she keeps mentioning.
Her desperation is palpable. She's even planning a brain transplant into the deputy director, Aoshima.
Which is just deeply creepy. Trying to cheat death to continue her work.
And then comes the big twist within the Academy timeline. Tokyo gets pregnant. By Kona.
An unplanned result of their naive explorations of intimacy.
But director Kaminaka sees it as an opportunity. Maybe this child, born from two of her children, will resist the disease, be the key.
It's the ultimate gamble in her twisted experiment. This baby becomes the focal point of all her hopes and the facility's impending doom.
So this is where it all snaps together, the big picture.
Yeah, this is the payoff for paying attention to both storylines, realizing they aren't parallel in time.
Let's just state it clearly. The Academy stuff, that's the backstory. It happens about 15 years before Maru and Kiruko's journey.
Meaning the ruined world, the hell that Maru and Kiriko are navigating.
That's the result, the direct aftermath of whatever went down at Takahara Academy. The apocalypse started there.
And this leads to probably the most chilling revelation of the season, the origin of the Haruko.
The man-eaters Maru fights. They aren't aliens, they aren't random mutations.
They're the kids, the former children from the Academy nursery.
The ones whose bodies couldn't handle the genetic modifications, who succumbed to that transforming disease, they became the Haruko.
Oh, God, just think about that. Every monster fight becomes retroactively horrifying.
It's body horror, existential horror. Maru isn't just killing monsters. He's putting down what's left of these tragic children, these siblings, in a way.
Which gives his unique power, the Maru touch, so much more weight. Why can he do it?
Well, the strong implication, given he looks exactly like Tokyo.
Is that he's her son, right? That's the prevailing theory, and it makes perfect sense.
Being Tokyo's child, potentially born with some resistance or connection to the modifications, could explain his ability to sense and destroy the Haruko cores. It's a familial link.
But the writers, gotta give them credit, they don't make it too simple. They throw in a complication.
Right, the cloning.
Yeah.
We find out Tokyo's baby was cloned.
And Dr. Sawatori, in the chaos of the Academy's fall, apparently wasn't sure which baby he gave back to Tokyo, the original or the clone. Episode 11 confirms this, right?
Yes, so Sawatori admits the uncertainty. So Maru could be the original son, or he could be the clone.
Which keeps his origin, his potential, maybe even his vulnerabilities deliberately ambiguous. It's a smart move, keeps the mystery alive.
Absolutely. His exact identity is still up in the air, which is a great hook for future developments.
And we see other direct links between the timelines pop up during Maru and Kiriko's trip, like the Immortal Order.
Yes, that place felt significant. They meet Dr. Usami there.
And his patient, Hoshio, kept alive by machines, suffering from the same progressive disease.
The one that will turn her into a man-eater when she dies. And Maru gives her a merciful end.
But the connection people made. Hoshio states the machines, the amputated limbs.
It perfectly mirrors Mimi Home's visions from the Academy timeline, the ones about her own future.
So the strong theory, backed by a lot of visual evidence and clues,
is that Hoshio is Mimihime and Dr. Usami. He's likely Shiro, the tech kid who's close to her.
That makes so much sense. It's tragic. Shiro trying to keep Mimi Home alive, fighting the inevitable transformation.
And the final nail in that coffin. When Usami dies, Kiruko finds that button.
The Takahara Academy bird logo, found right there, connecting Usami and Hoshio directly back to the Academy's legacy.
It's a quiet, devastating confirmation of their identities and the enduring impact of that place.
So the end of the season really ramps things up. We see the breakdown in both timelines converging.
The fall of the Academy is shown in more detail. It's chaos.
The kids are being prepped for this test, which sounds more like they're being deployed as Haruko, basically.
And then, boom! An explosion breaches the wall. The outside world rushes in. Hell comes to heaven.
Total pandemonium. And right in the middle of it, Tokyo gives birth.
And Sawatori makes that fateful mistake, confusing the baby and the clone. That ambiguity is locked in.
Then you have the Indra director Kamanaka trying to grab the baby.
Which triggers something in Tokyo. She unleashes some kind of power and energy burst to protect her child.
Whoa, okay. So Tokyo had latent abilities too. That adds another layer. It wasn't just the baby Kamanaka was after. Maybe Tokyo herself was key.
It certainly hints that her story isn't over, and her powers might be connected to the Haruko phenomenon.
Meanwhile, in the future timeline, Maru and Kiruko have that detour with Richi.
To the walled town, and that subplot is just heartbreaking.
Finding his son, Jugo, alive, but transformed. A spider like Haruko who doesn't even realize what he is.
God. And Juchi's choice, to stay with him, to accept this monstrous form of his son.
It's brutal. But he gives them his van so they can keep going towards the Academy site.
Which leads them to the Ministry of Reconstruction, and to Robin.
Oh man, the Robin reunion. That was not what anyone expected. Or wanted.
Kiruko finally finds him, the person Haruki idolized, the one she hoped had answers, maybe even a cure or a way back.
And instead, he assaults her, handcuffs her. It's devastating.
It completely shatters Kiruko, her sense of self, her connection to Haruki, her hope. It all just crumbles.
And he just broken by the world? Or is there something darker related to the Academy maybe? We don't know yet.
We don't. His actions are horrific, and they plunge Kiruko into this deep identity crisis. Is she Haruki? Kiruko? Neither. Just trauma.
Maru trying to save her, wanting to kill Robin. That felt very real.
But Kiruko stops him. They leave, completely shaken.
But it feels like a turning point, doesn't it? Maru's promise to protect her feels different now, deeper.
Absolutely. And Kiruko tearing up Robin's photo. That's her finally cutting ties with that idealized past, facing the brutal present.
So the season ends with so many threads hanging. Maru's identity still uncertain.
Robin's motives, completely unknown. What was he doing with that brain-dead woman attached to a man-eater? So many questions.
And then that post-credit scene. That changes the game again.
The escaped Academy kids. Mimihime, Shiro, Taka, Anzu on a speedboat.
Heading towards a bright, modern city skyline. clearly confirming the time jump they escaped into the past before the disaster.
Before we wrap up with the implications, we really should touch on just how well made this show was.
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the mind-bending plot, Production IG just knocked it out of the park visually.
Critics consistently called the animation gorgeous, and they weren't wrong. The contrast between the decaying beauty outside and the sterile creepiness inside the academy.
Masterfully handled. And this was Hirotaka Mori's first time directing a full series, right? Incredible debut.
It really was. And the action sequences, Maru's fights.
Tetsuya Takushi's animation on those, they had that wuxia feel, didn't they? So fluid and dynamic.
Yeah, really active camera work, visceral impact. It felt cinematic, not just standard anime action.
And sound, the music by Kinsuke Ushio.
Oh, fantastic. Tracks like Departure, setting that eerie academy mood, or My Heart, Tragedy, the main theme, Blue Sky. They added so much atmosphere.
Even the opening theme, Innocent Arrogance, by Pish, got award nominations. Just top-notch production all around.
And it paid off critically. The show was showered with praise.
Didn't it win Anime Trending's Anime of the Year for 2023?
It did. Plus, Mystery Psychological Anime of the Year, Best Sceneries and Visuals. It swept quite a few categories.
And you saw those comparisons reviewers were making, right? High concept stuff.
The Last of Us for the road trip and relationship, but also things like The Leftovers or Station 11 for the mystery, the trauma, the slow burn.
That tells you the kind of ambitious storytelling we're dealing with here. It was praised for handling tough themes like Kiruko's gender identity and trauma really thoughtfully.
Exactly. It proved it wasn't just style. There was serious substance in a complex, rewarding mystery that unfolded brilliantly across that first season. It really stuck the landing on connecting heaven and hell.
So, wrapping this up, what does it all mean? Where does Season 1 leave us? And you, the listener?
Well, the core quest has fundamentally shifted, hasn't it? It's not just find heaven anymore.
No, it's much more personal now. It's about finding the truth, finding that doctor, recovering from Robin's betrayal.
And understanding their place in a world literally built on the wreckage of that academy experiment. It's post-trauma exploration now.
And knowing Season 1 adapted the first 6 manga volumes, there's clearly more story to tell, assuming we get a Season 2.
Which seems likely given the acclaim, but nothing official yet. But that ending, it leaves us with huge questions.
Especially that post-credit scene, the escapees heading towards the past.
Right. We know the Haruko came from the Academy kids, from their genetic modifications going wrong.
Here's the final provocative thought we wanted to leave you with.
If those kids, Mimiheim, Shiro, Taka Anzu, escaped into the seemingly normal pre-disaster past,
could they, these genetically altered children, be the actual source? Could their arrival, their existence, their potential instability?
Could they have unintentionally triggered the unprecedented disaster that destroyed the world Maru and Kiruko now inhabit? Were they the seeds of the apocalypse?
It's a really chilling possibility to chew on. Were they escaping heaven only to inadvertently create hell?
A terrifying thought indeed. Something to keep in mind as you reflect on this deep dive.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep into Heavenly Delusion with us today.